Hello, my name is Swissbianco. In this video I will talk a bit about the timberline neely lock and its history. As we see in front of the camera is a clear see-through salesman model of that knife. That was needed to explain to people how the mechanism works, how the lock works. The knife is dull, it's not gonna cut like this, even the point was not grinded off, but we're gonna start with the regular models and look at the salesman model a bit later. Those knives came in a variety of sizes, of blade styles, with serration or not, also blasted or more on the high polished side. So from time to time we see also models in as advertising knives with some engraving on it or unusual handle colors, so it's quite some collectible feel there as well. I just got me a couple of those knives that I accumulated over the years, as we see here in front of the camera, to study a bit the design and all that. So we're gonna have a look at the different models. To start with this one, which has the usual features. We see the timberline made in USA on the blade, and then the neely lock and the US patent number on the tang. On the back side it says Equip USA Incorporation, and then Mancos, Colorado. Apparently there are many different stamps on those knives, so the company quite likely did move from time to time. Prior that company got sold to the GATCO, Great American Tools company in Buffalo, New York, and those knives here are sample of that. We see the regular handle style in black. It's thinner and then it swells and then it goes back. That is the bigger version. We see there were minimum 2 sizes of those. The thumb studs were made in plastic, in a synthetic, and the handle as well, so it's just the blade, the pin and the spring that is metal. How exactly they mounted the thumb stud I don't see. Then we have the same model but in green with a blasted blade that is way less shiny. We see there the stamp a bit clearer on it. On the back side we have the same. Those knives are made long time ago. I was already starting back then, but somehow I did not get a hold on them as they were still in production, and then it was already too late. So later I did collect a couple from eBay mainly, or at gun shows here in USA, that most of the people don't know what it is exactly. They are a thing of the past, so prices usually are quite well. Here we have a black handle one with a smaller version, of course, with the drop point blade. This one has the added pocket clip. Some of the models do not have a pocket clip. That's another feature that we see as a difference. The pocket clip also came in green, as we look at that model later. Because of the construction, the knife is really light. As I say, we have only the pin, the spring and the blade out of metal. The rest is synthetic, so the knife comes in really light. Then we have the same in polished again. this time without the clip. And at the end we have more like a spear point, really aggressive looking one, also with serrations there. As best as I remembered, that is an original version like this. It's the smaller size in green with spear point and serrations, and the mentioned pocket clip there. The engraving is the same. We see there a bit scratches from opening and closing. This one was used. The boxes where they came in did come in different samples as well. Unfortunately, the boxes are in a pitiful condition. That just shows how that was back then. That was a thin cardboard with the foam inlay. Usually the foam did already go bad. I'm just gonna show that as an example with the paperwork that we have here, and in the small one we have a paperwork too. The model number is on the back side, olive black. I'm not exactly sure if that would be with the black blade or what that exactly was. It's hard to say by now, but if you look a bit online there, from time to time such knives show up if you are interested in it. As we look on the manual, see if that is the same. Yes, it is the same. So we're gonna put that away. That got a bit hurt over the years with debris. So as we look on the care and use instruction, it shows how the action works there by simply pulling the blade in front. The cleaning instructions, the materials, it's a fiberglass nylon, and the blade is a high chrome stainless steel. It's hard to say what kind it really is. I would say something like a 440A. The note is interesting there. The clear handled version is intended as a dealer demo collector knife. It is made with polycarbonate with no fiberglass content and may not hold up well in actual use. Consequently, the clear knife is excluded from the warranty below. There is the limited warranty and of course some warning. On the back side it's white. That's usually the case with clear plastic, that not gonna hold up as strong as colored ones because some parts are missing. But it shows us exactly how the mechanism works, that there is just the pin and the spring inside the blade, and the blade is metal, then the handle and the thumb stud is plastic polymer. We also see that is a polished blade. It's actually was stamped. As we see the point, it's rounded off, that is from stamping, and then they grind it, and by sharpening that gonna get grinded off, so the stone wash finish not gonna damage or round off the tip too much. As a sample, as we see by Victorinox there, the tip sometimes is a bit rounded. That is because they do this feature a bit less aggressive. So how the thing works is pretty easy to see. The knife is open, the lock is engaged. To unlock it we need to press, basically to grab it and compress the spring there, and then the knife can unlock. We see the knife is now inside the handle with the opening stud here. The spring is a little bit compressed. We see on top, hopefully the camera see that, is a round part, a cut out, and that spring prevents it in the locked position to align with the round up part that it can be opened. So usually for opening one hand, that works really well on those models. Sometimes the rivet gets a bit stuck, so it needs oil. So what you do is, like usually, you grab the thumb, and we see now here that the rounded part of the blade is in the rounded part of the plastic part there, and that way it's gonna go. And we see the end of the tang is gonna come close by the end of the rounded part of plastic. I hope the camera will see that. And then as I'm gonna hold the blade, as it overcomes that point, then the spring gonna push it back into the locked position. So that's, there is that point there, and then as it goes over, it is spring loaded, pushes the whole blade back and locks it. So that was quite a unique approach on a knife, on a folding blade. Like this you could make the handle really light. Nowadays we quite likely would use a bit of G10 for more stability on the system there, and that could be really well made, even if the handle would be a solid piece made out of titanium or two-piece construction to mill it out and screw it together. That would then form a really strong knife. The disadvantage on the system was, especially on some of them, that the action is a bit hard to close the force that you need. With the sample here it works. You basically press it forward to overcome the lock, but sometimes with the regular ones, because the thumb stud is plastic, it's hard to push like that. So you really, and maybe the spring is a bit too hard too, so you really need to use both hands and then actually overcome that point. Opening is less of a problem, and it locks well into place, but the closing, and as they say in the manual, as you grab the blade to pull it forward, you are too close by the blade and by the edge already. So that is a bit a safety problem. I did carry and use, as best as I remember, that one for a while, and that is the main disadvantage. The knife opens pretty well, but to close it, it can be sometimes a trouble, and then you need two hands and wiggle around and all that. And also the thumb stud is made out of plastic, and the time frame as those were made is already a bit long ago, so the plastic may be getting a bit on the fragile side. So I don't wanna press like crazy on that it breaks, because for me that is simple a study collection to see how the model did work, to see how the lock back then did work, the neely lock. And the lock itself is a really nice idea. I think a more modern version would be for sure easy to use, and if you can use it like this sample here, simply press forward to close it and open it, then that is perfect and really nice. But as it is like the other sample I showed on the hard side, then it's a problem. So I want to say thank you to Gatco, Timberline, to Bob and John Anton for helping me a bit with the history on that knife. John especially, thanks a lot for giving me one of the few clear ones. Those are really hard to get, and usually they are beat up or scratched or all messed up, and as the manual did say, that plastic, the clear one, is not designed for use, so it's gonna be quite likely damaged or broken, and this one is like new condition. So thanks a lot again, John, for that unique sample there. I'm gonna put them back into collection, and from time to time, as I look a bit on auctions, if I see a nice version for a okay good price, I'm gonna bid on it to add a bit more variants to the collection, and then another video gonna follow. That much about the Timberline Neely Lock Timberlite knife.